Welcome to She Lancer, Mom Entrepreneur. I'm your host, Angela Olfest, otherwise known as VoiceOver Angela. In this podcast, we talk about my adventures in freelancing, my voiceover business, and everything else in between. Let's get started. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Thanks for joining me again for another live Q&A session. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Angela. I am a full-time voiceover artist and audiobook narrator, and my channel is dedicated to those of you just getting started out in this wonderful world of voiceover. And through my channel, I share with you tips and tricks and techniques that I use every day in my own voiceover business. And I answer your questions and just kind of hang out, I guess, in these weekly live Q&A sessions. If you're not new here, then you know every week we have a new poll. And this one has been a hot topic, of course, as of late. And I wanted to see what everybody else is saying, which I think I already know pretty much what you guys are going to say. But today's poll it's a multiple choice answer. Okay. So I would consider allowing my voice to be used for machine learning if, and then your options are, if it paid at least 5 figures. Another option is nope, no way. And then the last option is other, but please share what that comment would be in the comment section. Because I'd like to know, what would it take for you to allow your voice to be used for machine learning, AI usage, right? To be cloned, for your voice to be harvested, and to be used for whatever, wherever, however long. I'm personally, well, we'll have the whole conversation today to talk about it, but personally, I'm here. It's coming. It's coming. AI is something that we need to accept. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think, let me just back up a little bit. AI voices is basically an algorithm, right? It's an algorithm based on what it has to choose from. So if a voice artist were to supply somebody with different, let's just say a singular script of different phrases, words in different tones and different emotions, that algorithm is going to pick words from the appropriate tone to use in its, whatever it spits out, the voiceover that it spits out. But it's not going to be real human emotion in a way that conveys real human emotion. It doesn't understand the depth of human emotion. So there's that, but it will increasingly get better and better and better. And it's something that we're going to have to come to terms with as voice actors. We just are. But I do think that it won't ever truly understand the depth of human emotion or convey human emotion. So with that said, if you were given the opportunity to, or asked to record scripts for text to speech or for machine learning, for your voice cloning, what would it take for you to allow that? If it's not 5 figures, what would it be? And we will talk about some things that I have discovered along the last few months, things that you can do to help protect yourself from unknowingly having your voice harvested. With that said, let's check out the comments. Okay, or the results of the poll. So far we have 30 votes. We got a lot of votes so far. Looks like 13% of you said if it paid at least 5 figures. 68% of you said nope, no way. And then 19% of you said other. And I'm hoping that you shared what that would be. Now, of course, I'm only allowed so many different options for responses, and I'm also limited in characters in the options. So there were a few things such as if the contract stipulated it would only be used for, this specific reason for this specific time frame for, you know what I mean? But I didn't have the ability to put that in there. But anyway, I feel like I'm rambling already. So let's go over to the comments and see who is here. Let's see who's first in. Holy Moses, we got a lot of comments so far. Okay. Wonderland Steam says other, honestly undecided. Yeah, I think a lot of us are, because this is still evolving every day, by the hour. So, but I mean, it is inevitable. But again, I don't think, personal opinion, I don't think that it will ever really understand or convey the depth of human emotion. Joya says, what a beautiful day. Hope everyone is having a great Tuesday. It is a beautiful day. It's 67 here in Arizona. Well, in my area of Arizona anyway, not all of Arizona. So far, good day. Beautiful day. Lisa Morgan's here. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Facebook user. This is David. Is it Callis? Good morning, VO family. Good morning. Yes. Good morning, my VO family. At home with Tom and Rhonda. Howard says, hello, Angela. Hello. We are in Texas, outside of Dallas. Terrell, Texas. Love your teaching style. My teaching style? I don't really consider myself a teacher. I just share what I know, right? And in the hopes that it might help you guys, but I appreciate that. The tangents and the rambling. Apple TV says, hello, Angela. Is there any website where we can audition for audiobooks in Arabic or in French? I don't know specifically, but you could make a profile on, I always forget this one. Is it, I'm assuming you're talking about ACX not being available, but you could go and make a profile on Upwork, Fiverr, any of the freelance marketplaces. You'll have to probably do some direct marketing, let people know on social media, on the interwebs, who you are, what you do. But ACX is just one tool in your tool belt. There's a lot of other ways to find audiobook work that don't involve ACX. Donnie Clifton says, good morning from Sacramento. Good morning, Donnie. I have now done 42 auditions on ACX, no offers, but some good feedback. Is it time to move on to something else? Do you know how many narrators are competing for each book? Hundreds, I would think, are competing for each book. And 42 auditions, I would say, is in the realm of normal. I mean, ideally, you want to get, a 3 to 10% return on your auditions, but you also have to remember that if you're not booking those jobs, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're bad at it or that your sound is, not good. That's not necessarily what that means. That means that you weren't the voice that they were looking for. You weren't the voice that they had in their head. So I would say just keep going, because eventually you will cross paths with someone looking for your voice. If you want to be sure that it's not your recording booth sound, or if it's, get a mentor, a coach, join some groups, some workshop groups, hire a sound engineer to help you with your sound. There are things that you can do to be sure that it's not something that maybe is off-putting to a rights holder, right? But more often than not, it's just because you weren't the voice they were looking for. But hiring or outsourcing, hiring an audio engineer or a coach or mentor is definitely going to be an investment in your business. And that goes for everybody, for whatever stage you are. Always keep learning, always keep improving, right? So there are hundreds of other narrators competing for each book. So, and it's also a possibility that they stopped listening to auditions in the first 50 because there were just so many. So you want to audition right away as soon as the book is available. I know that's hard to do, but audition early, audition often, keep auditioning. Just don't stop auditioning, right? Anthony and Vivian Lanius. Good morning, VO Angela and all Angelites. Hope you all are having a great Tuesday. Yeah, it's a great Tuesday so far. So far, so good. Thanks for being here. Donnie says, I'm an old radio veteran, by the way, and I think I sound pretty good. Well, there you go. There you go. And also, one thing to consider, I've worked with a lot of radio veterans, and what I hear most often from them is that it's difficult to undo the DJ announcer voice. It's sort of ingrained, right? So that could be one thing that maybe a rights holder is hearing. They're hearing like a DJ voice, and maybe that's not what they're looking for, right? It might be difficult to undo that. Maybe that's not the issue. I don't know, but I'm just passing along what comes to mind from the other former radio DJs that I've worked with. Two-Way Productions LLC says, good morning, everyone. Yes, good morning or afternoon or evening, wherever you're watching from. Mary's here. What's up, Mary? Good morning, Angela and everyone. Happy Tuesday. Yes, happy Tuesday. Pamela is also here. My platinum group is in force today. How you guys doing? What's up, ladies? Good morning, all. Mark Flores says, good morning, Angela. Good morning, Mark. Appreciate y'all being here. Katie says, and for that, thank you. You're welcome. What did I miss? For the question? Oh, my goodness. Annie's here. Good morning, Annie. Good morning, all. I am very opinionated about AI jobs. I think we all are in some way, right? I am not interested in harming the future careers of myself and my peers and any beginners who will lose out on experience due to AI. Yeah, I can totally agree with that. But, and you'll find some voice actors. I have heard little bits of conversations, on social media and other groups and stuff where people are, because of its inevitability, that they are not quite embracing it, but finding ways to work within it that benefit them. But I don't know how I feel about that. I'm still sort of on the fence for a viable solution. I don't know. Phil says, hey, Angela. Hey, Phil. Good to see ya. I am Paximus. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've seen you here. Good morning. Sorry for being a bit MIA. Got new job and have meetings when you stream. Understandable. Totally understandable. Looking to somehow make it to a stream. Hope you're well. I'm still pursuing narration. Good. I've seen your TikToks. I still watch your TikToks. I see them all the time. So good job on that. But hey, you got to do what you got to do, right? I'm glad that you're still in it. Mary says, I did say no, I wouldn't do AI, but thinking it through, I would if my contract stated I would receive royalty. Yes, that is one of the things that I wanted to include as an option for the poll, but that, you're limited to just like 30, 40 characters or whatever it is. So, but yeah, if I knew specifically where, when, for how long, right? And if I would receive royalties every time it was used, to a certain extent or whatever the contract stipulated. I mean, if it was ironclad, maybe. But I mean, look at what happened with, oh my God, I'm blanking on her name. Does anybody know her name? The lady who found her voice on TikTok. I mean, she was under the understanding that her voice was going to be used for something else, and then it found its way to TikTok. So I don't know. Yeah. Facebook user says, that's David Callis. I've got to say nope. Yeah. Jason says, good morning to you. Good morning, Jason. Thank you for being here. Kevin's here also. Morning, Kevin. Anthony and Vivian Lania says, is anyone utilizing the Snap Studio for recording? Any opinions on it? We've set ours up and it is sturdy with great heavy moving blankets, but we haven't started recording in it. Snap Studio. Why does that sound familiar? Is it like like a portable studio that you can put together and take down? Or is it something that you built like what Anthony Pica calls his hobo fort? The best way to find out what it sounds like is just to record in it and listen back to it. Get some feedback on your space and then fine tune it until it sounds good, right? That's the only way to know. Eric's here. Morning, Eric. How you feeling? Feeling better yet? Same warnings were given with the rise of CGI characters in acting. Actors will be put out of a job, yet that didn't happen. At worst, same will happen to VO, in my honest opinion. I think, just to kind of piggyback on what you're saying, I think with this whole boom with this AI technology, it'll be utilized quite a bit. Everyone's going to be running to be using this to save a couple of bucks on the client's end, right? But then they will soon discover that no one wants to hear it. No one's going to like it. I don't know about you guys, but personally, and it's not just because I am a voice actor, but every time for example, YouTube, if you're watching a YouTube video and you hear the AI voice, it's like it just grates on my nerves. I can't listen to it. I can't watch it. Even if it's a channel that I really find the content interesting, which has happened, I cannot listen to it. I won't watch it because I just don't like the way that it sounds. And I think people will come to discover that, and then they'll come back to voice actors. Personal opinion. Katie Wood says, for my voice to be used for the benefit of AI, it would have to be something pretty profound in terms of helping people or the world. Would have to be something that I believe very much in. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I can see that. Donnie says, the only reason I used AI was doing audio tours and wanted rotating between male and female voices, but I do them all myself. Male, obviously, now. Yeah, I could see that, where maybe emotion isn't needed. It's sort of like the YouTube video thing where you're just kind of explaining something, walking people through something. But definitely for audiobooks, AI should not be used for audiobooks. Or commercials. I mean, anything that requires some understanding of, the complexities of being human, right? Rusted Kill Billy is here. Good morning. Good to see you here. Geddes says, good afternoon, Angie. Good afternoon. Kevin says it be snowing in Oregon. Oh yeah? Rusted Kill Billy, is it snowing in your part of Oregon? I miss Oregon. It's been so long since I've been there. Rowan says, hello. Hello, Rowan. How are we doing? Getty says, currently cold where I live. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to summer this year. Mark Flores says, I'm very anti-AI. In my experience, people that want to use AI are using it because it's cheaper than hiring a voice actor, of course. Therefore, they would never offer a rate worth it. Yeah. Yeah. But I think, personal opinion again, I think they will soon discover that no one's going to want to hear it. Phil says, hey, Joya. Facebook user, this is Phyllis Fort. I enjoy your talks and especially your ramblings. Don't encourage the ramblings. Don't encourage the tangents or the ramblings. You know what? Let's hop back over to the poll because I'm very curious as to what everybody thinks. So again, today's poll was, it's a prompt really, and then you have a few different options for answers. I would consider allowing my voice to be used for machine learning if, and then your responses are, it paid at least 5 figures. Nope, no way. Or other. And then if there is an other reason, then please put it in the comments below. It looks like 49 votes. 22% of you said if it paid at least 5 figures. 59% so it's shifting a little bit. 59% of you said nope, no way. And then 18% of you said another reason that would convince you to do that. And I really would like to know what those are. All right, so let's do this really quick. Let me just turn off this poll banner. And then I wanted to also give you guys some, let me find where I left off first. Okay, I'm right here. All right. So a few things that you can do to protect yourself is, I also wanted to mention before I forget, I received an email from Fiverr. I think it was Saturday morning. It was either Friday or I think it was Saturday morning. They had taken one of my character gigs and moved it into a new category within voiceover, and that is text to speech. So I said, thank you, but no thank you. And I went and moved my gig back out because it's not for text to speech. It's an AI character, for like, think video games, Starship, AI assistant type voice. That's what I do because I sound like Siri anyway. Why not? Why fight it, right? So I moved it back over to voiceover character, like a character, AI character kind of a thing. But what that did is I immediately thought, oh, wow, they have a new category. It's for text to speech. And I tried to find it going through voiceover, like like as a seller, going into the voiceover category and trying to find text to speech. I couldn't find it. So I don't know if it's in beta. I'm not sure what that is. But just out of curiosity, I searched text to speech in the Fiverr search bar, and it came up with God, it was a big number. It was like over 1,000 gigs in there, people offering their voice to be used for text to speech. And I was in between a couple of things, so I didn't have a whole lot of time to go down that rabbit hole because I knew I would if I started. But I wanted to, and maybe I'll go back and do it today because I've got a little more time today. Maybe I'll go back in there and check the different pricing structures and what people are doing, just out of curiosity, that these over 1,000 people are offering this service. I want to know how they're doing it. What are they charging? What are the stipulations? What are some of their FAQs? What do they look like, right? So I want to go back and do that today. But all of this to say is that I appreciate that Fiverr made a completely different category for just text to speech, right? So they're trying to separate human voiceover instead. I'm sorry, voiceovers used for just regular old voiceovers purposes, and if you wanted to use machine learning type of voiceovers, then there's a whole different category for it. So I like that. I think that is something that makes me feel a little bit better about what is going on. And in addition to that, if you do have, if you are on Fiverr, if you're a Fiverr seller for voiceover, I would recommend that in your requirement questions for each one of your voiceover gigs, if you can add a requirement question that the client must answer yes or no, or acknowledge, right, as a yes, that states this voiceover will not be used for any kind of, digital double, AI, machine learning, any kind of text to speech. You acknowledge that this voiceover will not be used for anything other than what we've discussed, will not be used for AI learning, will not be, so on and so forth. And then the client must acknowledge, right? So that is something that you can do to protect yourself on that platform. And then similarly, on any other platform where there aren't like stepped requirements that the client must go through, you can add that to your profile. You can add that to, something in there that states, by purchasing or by hiring me, you acknowledge that this will not be used for any of these purposes. Or if you have voiceover contracts, you could go to a site, actually, NAVA, the National Association of Voice Actors, has on their website resources for you, like writers for contracts that you can add to your voiceover contract, stating that, again, the my voiceover will not be used for any of these purposes other than what we've discussed, right? Hopefully, if it's a commercial, something like that. So there are resources out there that you can use to help protect yourself going forward until we kind of get a better tick on what this is going to mean for us, right? So that is something that I'm definitely going to double check today on all of my profiles and add that verbiage, right? So I wanted to make sure that I got that out. So that's just a couple of things that you guys can do. Back to the comments. Cecil says, Cecil J. I need my glasses. Cecil JI50. Good morning. Jim Cecil here. Well, that made it easy. Never. Why would I help to put myself out of business even faster than it's going to happen organically? I get that. I get it. And some people are very, very upset about this whole thing. But I mean, really, it's coming. It's coming. And so we got to figure out how we're going to deal, right? And maybe, like I said before, maybe it is just a flash in the pan. Maybe it might take a while for everyone to sort of get their feedback on using AI this way and discovering that no one's watching the content, no one's buying the products, no one's, because they just don't like the AI voices, and then they come back to voice actors. Maybe that's what happens. I don't know. But anywho, I feel a tangent coming on. I'm trying to suppress the tangent. All right, Savannah says, hello, all, and Angela. Hello, Savannah. I was wondering what you say to authors who want pacing stretched out to meet a certain time length on an audiobook. This happens a lot because authors, well, I should say Audible and some other platforms will price an audiobook based on its length. So I've had authors tell me they've had maybe a finished hour worth of content on their manuscript, but they wanted to stretch it out to 3 hours or whatever that number is. But what I tell authors is that we cannot eclipse 5 seconds of silence at any point in the book. So there really isn't a way to stretch a book out that far. And then consider the listener's experience. If every sentence has got a 5-second pause between it, that's not it. The ratings are just going to tank, which it's kind of counterproductive, right? So what I tell authors is that if you want a three finished hour book, then write more content, because there really isn't a way to stretch it out that far without, QA saying no, or the listener's feedback is just going to be horrendous, right? Keegan says, first time here, trying to get out of the learning and researching and get to the doing. Thanks for your advice. Yes, Keegan, we have a word for that here. That is called procrastinating. And it's very easy to stay there because it's warm and safe and cozy, but it takes a lot of courage to step out of that phase and do. And I get that. We've all been there. Me too. But you just have to kind of put the blinders on, set your intentions, and just go for it. And then keep going for it. Continue to go for it. Right? Yeah. It's really easy to get stuck there in the procrastinating stage. Know it. Steve Voiceover is here. Hello, Steve. 1,000 times no, it is more ethical than monetary. Yeah. Yep. I love how everybody's commenting. I love all these opinions. Janelle says, hey there, Angela. Hey, Janelle. How you doing? Embrace the tangents. There's great tips and info in there. No tangents. Megan says, thank you for these weekly meets. Always so helpful and encouraging. Honestly, I'm too controlling. I don't think I want to relinquish the control of my voice. That too. That is the thing I think that bugs me the most, is not knowing how my voice would be used, where, who am I relaying what information to, and for how long. It just creeps me out. Not knowing what I would be saying and to whom. It freaks me out. Katie says, didn't know you were an Arizonian. I'm in Phoenix. Well, look at that. We're both Phoenicians. Welcome. Enjoy the weather today. It's going to be hot next week. Steve says, good, excellent, prosperous, productive day, Angela. Yes, good. I love that positivity. Mark says, another problem with AI is that you genuinely don't have a way to track how they are using it, and if they're being honest with where and how much they're using it. Yes. Steve says, have you tried Find Away Voice? Yeah, Find Away Voice is another audiobook platform, but I don't know, because I have not read the particulars. There's a lot of talk about that Find Away Voice has a a little piece in their contract for the rights holder that allows them to use the content however they see fit. For example, like AI harvesting, and that the rights holder has to opt out of that. So I don't know how I feel about that. But if you are on Find a Way Voice, then I would definitely go take a look at that. Phil says at Donnie Clifton, 42 auditions. Yes, that's not really outside the realm of normal. You know, I've talked to people that had 80 auditions, 90 auditions, and then 2 weeks later, or even 3 weeks later, they had a few different offers. I mean, consider things from the rights holder's perspective, right? If they post their book, you know, and they're soliciting auditions for their book, they get 50 auditions in the first hour. Then at the end of the day, they have 200 auditions, right? It's very likely they may not even listen to the last, 100 or so, right? Unfortunately, that's a lot. That's a lot of auditions. But eventually maybe they will, maybe they won't, maybe they've already made their decision within the first 50, who knows? But that's why we just keep auditioning. Just keep going. Audition as soon as you see something you like. Don't wait for it. I know there are circumstances where, like, maybe you see the audition before you head off to work and then you want to audition when you get home. I get that. I've been there. But as soon as you see it and you want it, go audition for it right away. Donnie says, thanks. Victoria Smith, good morning, Angela. Switched my lunch with a colleague so I can get. Oh, that's so sweet. That is so cool. Well, I hope that it was worth it. I hope it. Are you eating earlier or later? Because if you're eating earlier, thank you. I hope you have an enjoyable lunch once you get there. And if you're eating later, I'm sorry that you're hungrier. But thank you. And I hope that today's topic was worth it. Steve Voiceover says, Find a Way Voices is for audiobooks too. Have you tried it? Yes, Find a Way Voices is for audiobooks too. I am on there. Yes. Ross Nelson, good afternoon, Angela. Good afternoon, Ross. How are we today? Steve then says, do not give in. We have to be like John Connor in Terminator. You fight against artificial intelligence. Yeah. Skynet. Joya says, fiction authors want realism in storytellers, not AI or monotony when we hire for ACX. The ability to speak direct the book's read is important to authors. Of course. Of course it is. That is one of the main reasons why I don't think AI will ever be allowed for audiobook use or be accepted or popular. Because we don't, I mean, there's a very, very small percentage that probably would try just because maybe it's like a how-to book. But for fiction, there's no way. There's no way. It could never understand the complexities and depth of being human. I agree with that. JCC AOL is here. Hello, hello. Good morning, Angela from Wisconsin. It was in the 80s the previous week, and it snowed the other day. Wow. It's so crazy how the weather just shifts so quickly. Eric says, feeling great back in the studio. Got to play catch up. Good. I'm glad to hear it. So finally, all of the nasal is gone. Man, I tell you what, and I got sick this year. It just lingered for like 2 weeks, over 2 weeks. It just would not go away. It's horrible. Rich Hallstrom's here. Bev Standing, thank you. It was right there on the tip of my tongue. Yes, Bev Standing is the voice actor I was referring to earlier about the TikTok thing. Her voice was literally stolen. Yeah. Victor says, hi, Angela. What is the best AI software for voiceover and audiobook narration? I don't know. I don't know because I don't use it. Rowan Z says, how to protect against our voice being stolen. Contracts, writers, not giving permission up front, doing the things up front, like I mentioned before with Fiverr and having contracts or writers, Oh, I forgot to give you that website for NAVA, for the National Association of Voice Actors. It's navavoices.org. NAVA voices.org. They have in their resources, they have writers and contracts that you could use, examples that you can use for adding to your voiceover contracts. Where did I go? I'm like just randomly, arbitrarily clicking around on my desk here. MG Stevens. Oh, and going back to Rowan just really quick and asking questions. I have found that some clients are trying to, because of the pushback I'm assuming that they're getting from other voice actors, they're not being completely upfront or direct with what they intend to use your voice for. So ask a lot of questions, which you should be doing anyway, so you can appropriately price your voiceovers. How long is this going to be used? Where is it going to be played? Who is my audience? All of those things. Make sure that you have a firm understanding. You could even come out directly and ask them, will this be used for AI or voice harvesting for machine learning? However you want to phrase it, ask them. MG Stevens says, good morning, Angela, everyone. Glad to be here. I was an other in the survey, lean mostly to no, never, because it's not human, and we humans are special. But if the future holds some unknown positive, and that is something that we're just going to have to wait to see, right? Yeah, I think this is still something that will have an outcome, but I don't know what it's going to be. But until that time, we just need to do our best to protect ourselves, right? And make sure that we ask those questions and charge for what we're doing appropriately. Where was I? BB Homebody. Good morning, Angela. I love this hour each week. Coffee. Speaking of which, cheers, all my coffee drinkers. I feel like I have the same mug just randomly every Tuesday. This is one of my big ones. Got to have a big mug for coffee. Rustic Hillbilly says, yes, lots of snow. Wow. Eric says, working with my current Aussie author, he mentioned a peer who got good reviews on his book until he used AI narration. Several negative reviews, especially due to AI narrator, for what it's worth. Absolutely. And I don't even know how that passed QA. I know there's a lot of the platforms will not even accept AI narration. So I'm curious as to where that was. BB Homebody says, no snow in Washington State, only blue sky. How nice. Enjoy that blue sky. Joya says, Phil, I emailed you. Tess Stalker says, good afternoon from, is that Decula? I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. Beautiful day here. Just finished my first ACX book. Congratulations. Good feeling, isn't it? Can't imagine listening to an AI book. Same. I wouldn't listen to it. I'd turn it right off. Thankfully, the sample would tell you, and I wouldn't even buy it. I wouldn't even use my credits on it. I wouldn't even know how it would make its way there anyway. Katie Wood said, sorry, I was commenting as I was watching. Haha. Oh, I said, thank you for that because you said specifically help beginners. I think that is amazing. I don't really have a question, but I highly out from using their version of AI called Bard. It relates to how you were talking about how AI can't convey human emotion. Hope you give it a listen. Sorry, couldn't fit this all into one. That's okay. That's okay. I need put my dang glasses on. I just need to stop just trying to do without. Bard. That's another one that sounds vaguely familiar. Where's my pen? Oh, there it is. Bard. I'll check it out. Thank you for that. Phil says, at Joya, got it. Finished narrating the first chapter and edited it, but I'd like you to review it. And then Joya says to Phil, send it over and I'll take a listen. Voiceover Van Deen, how you doing? I'm imagining you in your garden with a cup of tea and some biscuits. Am I right? Afternoon. Think of AI for voices being like samples of instruments. There's still work available for real musicians, but it's much less than there was. Samples have improved massively since the 90s. Yeah, exactly. I was hoping to hear you were drinking tea and having biscuits. Leslie says, Morning. I had to update Zoom and I read the whole disclaimers, info's, terms of service. There's a section stating how they have the ability to use your voices in meetings for machine learning AI. Interesting. Writing that down. Everybody go read all your disclaimers. That is something that needs to be done, I think, from here on out. Every platform that you are utilizing, every platform that you have a presence on, we're really going to have to read through all of the terms of service to make sure that this is not included in their verbiage. And that goes for everybody, not just voice actors and audiobook narrators. That's everybody. That's just wrong. Definitely going to go check that out. Z Sleeper 5, just starting out. Have yet to open Fiverr or ACX account. Should I get LLC now or wait till later? You don't have to have an LLC to start freelancing in voiceover and audiobook narration. You do not. Z Sleeper 5, don't want to look like a complete newbie. It's okay. Those are all legitimate questions to ask. No worries. There's no dumb questions. Lisa says, hello to everyone. First time here. Well, welcome. Is it Lisa or Lisa? I hate butchering everybody's name. Kirk. Hey, Kirk. Howdy. Running between appointments, but wanting to chime in. Nope. I know it's a train coming down the track, but I'm not going to fill the coal hopper to get it here faster. Coal hopper. Yes. Same. Indeed. Getty says, in my opinion, I'm not even going to use AI for my voice in a million years. Yeah. Yeah. Victor says, to protect our voice from being cloned, you recommend stating it in the contract. How do we know if the contract is violated? That's a good question. And, oh gosh, why didn't I write it down? I should have brought that in here. There is a website that I heard somebody talking about that you could find. I'm going to have to find that and put it in comments or something. But there's a website that you could go on to find if where your voice or where they could help you find that. But I'll have to look up and see what that is because I didn't write it down like an idiot because I can't remember anything. Musical Neptunian. You know what I do, what just came into my mind, Victor, is to ask for a finished product for like demo purposes. And then that might enable you to better find the work elsewhere. Musical Neptunian says, I will tell you something creepy. I don't know if I want to hear something creepy. Google is sharing the 3-second sample of AI. I know the woman in the example she narrates for LibriVox. Oh, no. Victoria says, eating earlier. Thank you for that. I appreciate you being here. Jolene says, hello from California. Hello, Jolene. Nicole Williams says, thank you for these weekly meetings. I have done a demo with a producer, and most places want single recording. So I am making a studio in my closet to record. Wish me luck. Best of luck to you. You got this, Nicole. I have faith in you. You got this. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Voiceover Van Deen says, we can try and protect ourselves with as many clauses as we want in our contracts, but laws don't stop criminals committing crimes, only fear of punishment. It's very hard to legislate for AI globally. Yeah, it's a very good point. But all we can do is what we can do, right? Laura says, I know this may be an unpopular opinion, but offering our AI voice as a cheap alternative to buyers could potentially give us work without the work. Maybe there's a way we could benefit too. And that is exactly when I referenced some of the voice actors I know of that are embracing this. This is exactly what they're doing. They're finding a way. And maybe I'm just like, I don't it's just one less thing I have to worry about right now. So I didn't really take in the information, but I should have. but I want to know exactly how it is that they're doing this. But I think, me personally, the only way that I would do it is if the amount of money made sense and everything was in the contract was, laid out where, when, who, how long, right? And even then, I don't know. It still makes me feel creepy. It still makes my skin crawl knowing that, I don't know. But I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Leslie says Nava has recorded meeting addressing how to protect your voice from AI. The discussion is interesting. It's on YouTube. There you go. Go check it out on YouTube, everybody. Joya says, is it possible to copyright your voice? Just know there are ups and downs to copywriting your voice. I I don't know. I don't know if you can. I know there are specifics to copywriting. I don't know if voice applies. Can you copyright your voice? I don't know. That'd be an interesting question. Tess says, sorry. Duckula. That's a new one. Thanks for all your phenomenal, easy for you to say. Thanks for all your phenomenal advice. Thank you for helping me to pronounce duckula. Now I know how to say it. For the next 5 minutes anyway. I'll forget in 10. Sunny's here. Veritas. Oh my God, I'm late to the stream. Sorry. You're fine. Come and go as you please. I'm just glad that you're here, that you guys take the time to visit, hang out, join the conversation. I'm just happy for that. Facebook user, this is David Callis, working my day job. Can't wait to get into my studio to work on my auditions. Any suggestions for exercises for improving breath control? Breath control. Well, this is how I feel about breaths. Don't control it. If we're controlling our breaths and removing our breaths, then what is the difference between us and AI, apart from the whole emotions thing? It just gets us closer to sounding inhuman. Humans breathe. Don't control your voice. I would say if we're talking about an audiobook, leave the breaths in. Every once in a while, you have to take a big breath, to once you're through like a big paragraph or a long sentence or something, and you have to take a big breath, take out the big one. If it's distracting and weird sounding, then take that out. But leave the small ones in. Then we're humans. We breathe. It's okay. Leave them in there. But I think if you really want to help, we are our own worst critics, right? So we always think that what we're doing is so bad when it's completely normal and natural and acceptable to do, right? But if you really think that your breaths sound like a problem, like you want to reduce them, just practicing, maybe taking, moving back from the microphone a bit when you're taking a larger breath, or most of the time I just cut the big ones out in post, but I don't really need to control my breath, I suppose is what I'm getting at. So my advice to you, David, is to just be human. Don't worry so much about your breaths. They're more often than not, they're not a problem at all. Oh, we just got a super chat. Sean. Sean Lester. Good morning, buddy. Do you think and thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Do you think AI will replace those who sound like AI anyway? Perhaps this is an opportunity for us to work on our uniqueness as actors. I absolutely agree with that. However, I already sound like AI, so I would be putting myself out of a job. However, I will tell you that gig that I told you about earlier today, about how Fiverr moved it into their text-to-speech category and I moved it back out. That is my AI character gig. After I did that, within 2 hours, I had a job for a video game for being a starship, like a starship motherboard, like Mother from Aliens. It was just, you speak, right? Or maybe not. No, she didn't speak, did she? Or did she? Yeah, she did. Need more coffee. But I agree with you wholeheartedly, Sean. But naturally, what makes us unique as voice actors is us, our own, our unique voice, our unique perspectives on things, and our unique interpretations on the copy, which come from our life experiences. And AI has no life experiences, right? So I think just being uniquely us inherently, because we are unique, everything about us is unique. But so I would just say work on your performance, you know, make sure that you have a firm grasp on what it is that you're narrating. But yeah, um, I lost my spot. Lisa spelled as Lisa. Okay. So it's not Lisa, it's Lisa. Got it. Thank you. Juan says, hola from Tejas. Hola, Juan. How we doing? Steve says, exactly. Fight against Skynet. Resistance. Vive la resistance. Skynet. Voiceover Van Deen. Yep, I'm drinking tea in a 1-pint mug. Garden was earlier. I'll drop some updates on AI and also some changes I discovered to the Upwork terms over the Facebook group later. Interesting. So if you're in my Facebook group, look out from, the updates from Voiceover Van Deen later. Interesting. We're really going to have to read through all of these changes in terms of service for all these places. Make sure that we read them through and understand them. Sunny says, we will slowly transition from AI being useful VO editing tools to replacing lower tier VO jobs, to replacing more VO jobs. The only comfort is that many other industries will experience the same thing. Yeah, I think that's just, unfortunately, the inevitability of these things. The progression of technology is inevitable for all industries, not just ours. Yeah. Oops, I completely skipped over this one, Joya. Sorry about that. I refuse to use AI for my books. Most authors are fighting to remove AI from VO. That's good. Stand together, united. So don't be surprised if you're accused of reading like an AI. Add in soul and heart to every VO you do. Love that. Love it. And I said, yes, you can copyright your voice. I have a paralegal degree and have filed copyrights for others. Interesting, y'all. Maybe that is one thing that we need to do. Musical Neptunian says to Joya, at the moment, it's easy to tell if it's an AI. Someone tried to use AI in a LibriVox 1-minute test. I saw through it. Yeah, you can usually spot AI pretty quickly. So I don't know how far it's going to go, right? Facebook user says, oh, this is David. Thanks for that, Angela. You're welcome, David. Musical Neptunian says AI cannot use numerous human VO techniques such as image word pairs. Yeah, there's a lot that it can't do. I mean, even if it advanced in a way that made it harder for us to distinguish between AI and a real human voice, it's never going to be able to convey, again, that depth of human emotion, the complexities of being human, and many other factors of language, right? Lisa says, off the topic of AI, but now that I have some auditions out there, I can't stop checking my email. And that's normal. And I had a question the other day about somebody had emailed me and asked, why don't authors give feedback on auditions, right? And my answer, in retrospect, it might have come off a little bit mean or rude, but I just said simply because they're not required to. They're not required to give you feedback. And then going back to what I said earlier about there just being potentially hundreds of auditions, they might not even listen through all of them. And at that point, they have their narrator. They can finally move on to the next stage of the process. They don't want to have to go back and email 50, 60, 100 people and tell them what they did or didn't like about their audition. It's just not something that you're going to see. That's not the norm. And I've had authors give me feedback, and that was great, but it's not the norm. It's a very, very small percentage of authors that have the time and the bandwidth to do that. You just can't expect them to do that, right? But I get it. But just don't stop. Keep auditioning. Just keep going. Voiceover Van Deen says, no, you can't copyright your voice. See Middlers versus Ford. However, she won the case under tort law for them, appropriating her identity and deliberately leveraging it for commercial advantage. There's going to be loopholes to everything, I think. Nicole says, do I use foam and blankets to build the closet studio? What kind of foam? There's a lot of different elements that you can use. There's like rock wool. There's like insulating foam. There's most commonly you see the acoustic tiles that look like little square wedges that have the little, they look like vent slats on them, or egg crate foam. Moving blankets. This is what I use. I have acoustic foam on my walls, and then everything's covered with moving blankets. I also have a window in here that's completely covered and treated. The ceiling is covered and treated. The door to this space is covered and treated. That is one of the most important aspects of creating your recording space, is being mindful of what is in your recording space and covering it or treating it accordingly. Meaning, if you have any smooth, hard surfaces in your recording space, those are going to be the culprit for echo, right? You're going to have echo in your recording space, or reverberation, right? It's going to sound echoey. So treating your recording space, and not only that, but you could have like a boxy kind of a sound. So taking the time to treat your recording space appropriately is going to be one of the most important aspects to this. And then once you make a change to your room, I have like a hair hanging on me. It's just annoying me. Once you treat your room, do like a test recording, listen back to it, get some feedback from groups that you're in to see if anybody else hears anything. And then if it still needs some tweaking, then go back and tweak it. And this process could take you a while. But again, this business, what you're creating here is a business, and it's going to take time. Take all the time you need. There's no time limit on this. Take all the time you need to perfect it. Invest in a coach, invest in a mentor, invest in mastermind groups or webinar trainings, everything that you can be a part of, and ideally get active feedback on, is going to help you improve quicker than not investing that time and money in courses and training. I feel like that was another little tangent. Sunny says, but to remain on the bright side, figure out how to act and voice act for the passion and enjoyment of it first and foremost. Maybe AI will never replace those two keystones of acting: passion and joy, human emotion, right? Real, true, at its core, human emotion. Fear, loss, all of those things, I don't think AI is ever going to be able to replicate. But you're right, Sunny. Focus on what you love. And if you love voice acting and audiobook narration, then do it and let that joy and passion come through, like Sunny said. Absolutely. Victor says, is ACX the best platform to get a gig for a beginner with no established client base or website? It could be one of. You could really start with freelance marketplaces. I mean, if you're still kind of like in the, I'm testing to see if I will like this kind of work, you can start on Fiverr, Upwork, places like that, and see if this is something that you want to continue. And if it is, then you want to start building out your website. You want to get, your LLC. You want to get onto the bigger pay-to-play marketplaces. You want to start marketing, direct marketing, get agents, all that kind of thing. But ACX is just one of the places you could start as a brand new person in this industry. Sunny says, what are examples of image word pairs? Image word pairs. I'm drawing a blank. Image word pairs. Somebody help me out with an explanation for image word pairs. I'm blanking. Musical Neptunian says at Veritas, there we go. Word pair is a pair that creates a mental image. I just narrated a part of Frankenstein that went I, then a word's later open. I emphasized I and open. There you go. Image word pairs. Tom Stevens says, other than ACX and Findaway, what are other audiobook platforms out there? Oh, geez. There's one that I can never, ever remember. It's Audiobook something. And I do this every time. I can never remember it when it comes time to say it. But if you just did a Google search, Google is your best friend. You can find, maybe not directly find exactly what you're looking for, but at least you can find maybe indirectly the answer to questions by just searching around and going down the rabbit holes. Because there's going to be a lot in this business or any business that you just don't know the answer to. And you can find a lot on your own by just doing, the research. And I'm not saying that directly to you, of course. I'm just saying, generally speaking, because I'm asked a lot of questions that could be easily found on, on Google, not here in the chats, but I mean, in everyday conversations or emails, people will ask, I can't even give you a good example, but my point to this is that being a business owner, you're going to be wearing a lot of hats and you're going to have to learn to be self-sufficient, right? There's a lot that you can find on YouTube. YouTube is just a gold mine of information, right? There's tons of stuff on YouTube everything that you want to know about anything is there on YouTube, or Google. So there's a lot you can find there. But I always blank on this one. It's audiobook something. But anyway, I don't want to spend, the rest of our meeting time together on that one. But there are quite a few. And not only that, but off of platforms, if you do direct marketing, make connections on social media, that I find is a more organic and better way to go. Takes more time, of course, but referrals, all of that kind of stuff, all of that stuff matters. You don't necessarily have to be on platforms to find work. Katie Wood says, sorry, feel like broken record, but I suggest you to watch the AI Revolution, Google's developers on the future of artificial intelligence, 60 Minutes. Scott Pelley talks with Google CEO about Bard. It's okay. Be a broken record. That's great information. You can go check that out. Victor says, in your audio production career, has a client also requested a video? I'm finding that to be increasingly requested because I think our clients are also being sent AI voices, people that actually aren't voice actors. They're doing like a text to speech kind of a thing and then submitting that as their voice. So clients are being burned too that don't want AI voices. They want an actual voice actor. And then whoever they're considering hiring is sending them AI auditions. So it's happening on both sides. So clients are then asking for a video audition to make sure that you are a real person, that you're not just sending them a Google text to speech kind of a thing, right? But yeah, I'm seeing that more and more often. Katie says, that was missing from my last comments. Sorry, I feel like a broken record. It's fine. You're fine. Thanks gotta go was Phyllis Fort. Thank you. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. Authors Republic is one. I always forget about that one. And I always feel like it's like right here. I can never remember what it is, but Authors Republic is another one. Oh, there's also Ahab. There's, which is Penguin Books. And there's a few others. Just, Google around a little bit. I'm sure there's a lot more that I don't even know about. It seems like there's new ones all the time. Tom says, yes, thanks. Just found many on Google. There you go. But whichever ones that you look at before you, and this goes for everybody listening, if you find a new platform that's new to you, maybe not new in the space, but new to you, before you sign up, make sure that you read through all the terms of service. Make sure that you understand the pricing structure, how they get paid, because everybody gets a piece one way or the other, right? Meaning, does the platform need a monthly membership, an annual membership, a semi-annual membership fee? Do they have a membership fee plus? Do they take a percentage of what you make? How do they get their piece? Make sure you understand all of this stuff so there's no surprises later. How do you get paid? Do you have to invoice the client? Is there like an escrow sort of a thing with PayPal, and then you deduct everything from or through PayPal? Right? So just for your own sanity, make sure you have a firm grasp on how you're getting paid. Sean says, I installed studio lighting in my booth due to auditions asking for video. Yeah, see, it's increasingly becoming a thing. Yeah. I had to add lighting in here too. My studio is very dark. I have a blue light in here, and then of course the lighting behind me. But yeah. Sunny says, Angela, do you regularly use something other than ACX to audition for audiobooks? I don't audition for audiobooks. I haven't auditioned in a while. Most of my audiobooks, I'd say maybe 60% of them come from Fiverr at this point. People reaching out to me to narrate their books. Maybe 10% from Upwork, and then the remainder from people reaching out to me directly who have found me my website, or found me here on YouTube, or found me somewhere on the interwebs and reached out to me directly. So I just had Leslie's comment. Well, shoot, no wet hair days auditioning. Why not? I mean, you're still a human. You're still achieving or fulfilling the purpose, right? The question, are you human or are you an AI? AIs can't have wet hair. Embrace that as a strictly human thing. Do it. You can still do it. All right, guys. I think that is going to be it for today. I appreciate you guys coming in and spending some time with me and everybody else who joins. I really appreciate the time you spent. And I hope some of what I shared today is helpful for you going forward. And really, what happens is going to happen. It's going to be inevitable, but it'll be interesting to see how far this goes and what happens, right? But until then, I will see you guys next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. And I hope you guys have a fabulous week. So I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for listening today. I really appreciate it. If you have an extra moment, please feel free to leave a review. We'll see you next time.